Attention, Bear Nation. The fate of the franchise is hanging by a triple-edged sword. First, a financial relief that could be toxic smoke. They created $10 million out of thin air, but it's ghost money that's going to explode in Caleb Williams' future. Second, a left tackle with a suspect knee and zero dominance will be our QB's shield. If he fails, who will restore Chicago's pride? Third, while our rivals arm up, we gather trash, betting on a pass rusher who has never taken down a QB on his own. This death triangle might bury the season before Halloween. You think that's an exaggeration? Wait until you see the numbers I'm about to drop. Every decision connected like a ticking time bomb. Sign up now and smash that. Like if you want to know how to disarm this trap before Aaron Rodgers laughs in our face for the 50th time. The time to act is now, or the legacy of 2025 will be a cruel joke. You know what drives me absolutely nuts? When they say the Bears don't have money to compete, I believe that's a cheap excuse. And I'll explain why this restructuring of Jaylon Johnson's contract is much more important than it seems on the surface. Take a look at the absurd situation we are in. Only $1.5 million available in the salary cap. Do you know what that means? It means they couldn't even sign players for the practice squad. Couldn't even call up athletes for Sunday games. How does an NFL team operate like that? I'm telling you, it's unacceptable. To give you an idea of the gravity of the situation, OverTheCap.com confirmed that the Bears were the tightest financially in the entire league. While teams like the Chiefs have more than $20 million in space, we were literally counting pennies. That's not responsible fiscal management. It's administrative incompetence. Ryan Poles made the right decision by restructuring Johnson's contract, creating almost $10 million in cap space. But here's my concern. It's just a band-aid on a wound that needs surgery. I'll explain exactly how this restructuring works and why it's both genius and worrisome. Johnson had a high base salary scheduled for 2025. Poles converted a significant portion of that salary into a signing bonus, which can be spread over the life of the contract. It's like taking a $1,000 bill and breaking it into smaller installments. The total remains the same, but the immediate impact is smaller. The problem is that we're pushing money to future years, exactly when we'll need to pay Caleb Williams. It's like using a credit card to pay off a credit card bill. Solves today's problem, but creates a time bomb for tomorrow. You know what great teams do? They let their general managers convert salaries into bonuses, push money to future years strategically and systematically. The Bears have contracts with Montez Sweat, DJ Moore, and Cole Kmet where they could create up to $50 million more in cap space. $50 million! Let's get to the real numbers. Montez Sweat has a base salary of $18 million for 2025. If they converted $12 million into bonuses, they'd create $9.6 million in immediate space. DJ Moore has $17 million scheduled, another $8 million potential relief. Cole Kmet, $9 million base salary, $4 more million available. The Patriots did this with Mac Jones. The Rams do it all the time. The Saints are masters of this art. Why do the Bears resist so much? The answer is simple. George McCaskey and the board still think like a small market franchise when they should be thinking like the giants they are. I ask you, is George McCaskey really willing to spend what's necessary to compete? Because managing the salary cap intelligently is one thing. Being miserly when your competition window is opening is another. The McCaskey family has a net worth of over $1.4 billion. The Bears are worth over $6 billion. And here we are discussing whether we can convert $10 million in salary into bonuses. That's ridiculous. Winning teams don't hesitate to push money into the future when they have an open competition window. The Rams did it to win the Super Bowl. The Bucks did it to keep Brady. The Chiefs constantly do it to keep Mahomes in the team core. With Caleb Williams at the helm and his extension coming in 2027 to 2028, the Bears are going to face even more pressure on the cap. This restructuring of Johnson was necessary, but if that's all, it's going to show that the board still hasn't understood. It's time to go all in. Let's compare with our division rivals. The Packers have $35 million in available space. The Lions, $28 million. The Vikings, $22 million. What about us? We were at $1.5 million. How do we expect to compete like that? The Packers use this flexibility to make a trade for Micah Parsons. The Lions are active in the free agent market. The Vikings can make moves at the deadline. And us? We're celebrating because we created enough space to cover basic operational costs. Now, let's talk about a decision that can make or break our season. Braxton Jones won the starting left tackle spot, and I have strong opinions about it because this wasn't an easy decision, and the implications are huge for Caleb Williams' future. The competition lasted 6 whole weeks of training camp and preseason. 6 weeks. Ben Johnson only announced the decision on Tuesday because there really was a real contest between 4 legitimate candidates. This shows 2 things. Either we have real depth at the position, or our starter isn't as dominant as we'd like. First, I'll give credit where it's due. Jones has experience, 40 games as a starter on the offensive line in 2 seasons. That's no small feat. He was assigned as an undrafted free agent in 2022, started 13 games in his rookie year, and was a starter in all 17 games of 2023 and 2024. But here are the numbers that worry me. Jones allowed 5 sacks in 2023, improved to 3 in 2024, but still has consistent issues with explosive pass rushers. Pro Football Focus gave him a grade of 68.2 in 2024. Acceptable, but far from elite. I tell you one thing, experience without evolution is worth nothing. Even Ben Johnson admitted that not all of Jones's plays are perfect. Not all perfect. We're talking about the protection of our franchise quarterback. This language makes me nervous because it sounds like someone who still has reservations about the choice. The competition was fierce, and each candidate brought something different. Ozzie Trapilo, second-round rookie from the 2025. Our draft, 6'6", 320 pounds of pure athleticism. Came from Louisiana Monroe, where he was dominant at the college level. What impresses me about him is the foot technique, much superior to Jones, but 0 NFL experience. I'm protecting a quarterback like Caleb is no place for a learning curve. Theo Benedette, the wild card no one expected. Undrafted from Canada, spent the whole year on the practice squad developing. 6'7", impressive brute strength and run blocking. Johnson said he improved tremendously, which means they were really considering him for the 53-man. Roster, Kiran Amagaji, our 3rd-round pick of 2024, who missed almost the entire rookie season due to injury. He came from Yale, yes, Ivy League, with a very high football IQ. The problem? Only played 3 snaps in the NFL. Impossible to assess without a real sample size. Choosing Jones over these 3 shows that experience still weighs more than pure potential. But I wonder, are we being too conservative? Ozzie Trapilo might have a much higher ceiling. Jones himself said he's still getting there after the injury at the end of 2024. Get in there, dude! You're protecting a 1st draft pick. Quarterback. There's no time to get there. Either you're ready or you're not. The injury was to the left knee, happened in week 16 against Detroit. He missed the last game of the season, and the whole offseason was about rehabilitation. During training camp, there were days where he clearly wasn't 100%, which opened the door for other candidates to show their stuff. But here's my real concern. Johnson said they aren't afraid to make a change if the performance isn't what it should be. That sounds like a conditional vote of confidence. I believe if you name someone a starter, you need to believe 100% in them. Johnson also mentioned that the decision was made because Jones gave Caleb Williams security in preseason games. Security? Or lack of a better option? Language matters. And I'm reading between the lines that this wasn't an obvious choice. My analysis. The decision makes sense for the experience, but I'll be watching each snap. Caleb Williams has already shown a tendency to hold the ball longer than he should, looking for the perfect play. If Jones can't give him the 3 to 4 seconds he needs, we're going to have serious problems. The Williams-Jones combination worked in the 4 preseason drives where they played together. 0 sacks allowed, only 2 pressures. But preseason, defenses aren't Aaron Rodgers and Aiden Hutchinson coming full force in the playoffs. If Williams starts taking unnecessary hits from the left side, this decision will be questioned quickly. And with Ozzie Trapilo showing flashes in camp, the fans' patience will be limited if Jones struggles early. And now we come to the news that irritates me the most. The Bears are considering Isaiah Foskey. For the love of Ditka, Can someone explain to me how a defensive end who hasn't managed a single solo sack in 2 NFL seasons is going to help our pass rush? This news drives me crazy because it exposes exactly what's wrong with our approach. Instead of being proactive and aggressive in the market, we're being reactive and desperate, testing leftovers that other teams have already discarded. I'll tell you what the problem is. We're so desperate for help on the defensive line that we're willing to accept any crumbs. But that's not how winning teams operate. Look at last season's numbers. Our defensive line finished with only 31 sacks as a unit. For comparison, the Giants had 45, the Browns 42, the Ravens 60. We're talking a staggering difference in production. Montez Sweat had 6 sacks in 9 games after the trade, projecting for 11 sacks in a full season. Respectable. But who else? DeMarcus Walker had 4.5 sacks all year. Yannick Ngakoue, 4 sacks before getting cut. The rest? Practically non-existent? Now let's get to the facts about Foskey. Second-round pick by the Saints in 2023, came out of Notre Dame with high expectations. 6'3", 265 pounds, decent combine but not exceptional. 40-yard dash in 4.69 seconds. Not the explosive speed you want in an edge rusher. In 2 NFL seasons, 26 games, 24 total tackles, 0 solo sacks, only 1 assisted sack, 3 quarterback hits. For a second-round pick, those numbers are embarrassing. The Saints, desperate for pass rush help for years, let him go. If they couldn't develop him, why should we? Meanwhile, the Packers make a sensational trade for Micah Parsons. They gave up a 2025 third-round pick and a conditional 2026 fifth. Parsons had 14 sacks last season. He's a total disruptor, a real game changer. And us? Here we are testing league castoffs. The difference in ambition and execution between organizations is glaring. The Packers identified a need and were aggressive. We identified the same need and are being cautious. Our pass rush situation is by far the worst in the NFC North. Let's make comparisons. Green Bay Packers, Micah Parsons, 14 sacks. Rashawn Gary, 9 sacks. Preston Smith, 8 sacks. 31 sacks just from these 3. Detroit Lions, Aiden Hutchinson, 11.5 sacks. Marcus Davenport, 4 sacks when healthy. Josh Pascal, 4.5 sacks. Deep and talented rotation. Minnesota Vikings, Danielle Hunter, 16.5 sacks. Jonathan Greenard, 12 sacks in trade. Pat Jones II, 10 sacks. Absolutely loaded. Chicago Bears, Montez Sweat, 6 sacks in 9 games. DeMarcus Walker, 4.5 sacks. And then Austin Booker on IR, draft rookies without experience, and now testing Foskey. Look, I understand the limitations of the salary cap. I understand the options are scarce. But there are better alternatives than Foskey available right now. Yannick Ngakoue is still available, veteran with 69.5 career sacks. Yes, he had a down year with us, but at least he has a track record of production. Carl Lawson was cut by the Jets, had 7 sacks in 2023. Arden Key is on the market, had 6.5 sacks with Tennessee. Any of these guys would be an upgrade over Foskey, who literally has 0 solo sacks in his career. 0. Matt Zenitz of CBS Sports reported that the Bears will give Foskey a workout this week. I believe they're wasting precious time. The real solution is right in front of us. Develop Dominique Robinson, who showed flashes in training camp. Give more snaps to Jacob Martin, who had decent production in a limited role. Or even convert. Austin Booker from linebacker to edge when he returns from injury. Foskey has nothing we don't already have on the 53-player roster. 0 solo sacks in 2 seasons. How is that going to help us against Aaron Rodgers, who now has Micah? Parsons coming off the edge? How do we face Jared Goff with this anemic pass rush? So there it is, Bear Nation. 3 situations that define exactly where we are as an organization. And frankly, I'm not impressed with the level of ambition being shown. The restructuring of Jalen Johnson shows that Ryan Poles knows how to manage the cap, but will the board allow the necessary spending to really compete? Or are we going to keep being penny wise and pound foolish? Braxton Jones won the left tackle spot. But will he be able to protect Caleb Williams when facing elite pass rushers like Micah Parsons twice a year? And if he struggles early, how long? Will they give him before making a change? And this desperate search for pass rush help with players like Foskey? Seriously? Is this how we're going to face an NFC North absolutely loaded with talent? With 0 sack guys that other teams have already given up on? I want to know what you think. Do you think the Bears are doing enough to compete in 2025? Or are we still being too conservative? Do you trust Braxton Jones to keep Caleb Williams upright throughout an entire season with targets on his back? And what would you do to solve this pathetic pass rush? Would you give Foskey a shot or go after veterans with proven track records? Do you think Ryan Poles is being too conservative or appropriately cautious? Leave your opinions in the comments, because I want to debate each point with you. If you agree with me that we need more aggression, hit the like. If you disagree and think steady building is the right path, comment why I'm wrong. This is our community, our family of Bears fanatics who live and breathe navy blue and orange. You know my passion for this team, and sometimes that means being critical when we see decisions that don't match our championship aspirations. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because here you have deep analysis, real numbers, unfiltered opinions, and all the passion the Bears deserve. Hit that bell, because more explosive content is coming your way, especially when the season starts for real. Next week, I'm going to do a deep dive into our season matchups and show exactly where these decisions will be tested. Spoiler alert, it won't be pretty if we don't fix these issues ASAP. Until next time, Bear Nation, bear down and let's demand excellence from our organization.